and welcome to our coffee chats. My name is Lindsay Giese, and I'm the Executive Director for River Arts, Inc. And today I am joined by Marita Kelter. Hi, Marita.
Hello, Lindsay. How are you?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Always have to have a little drink of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what it's supposed to be.
This is all it is. I'm surprised anybody watches me. I mean, we're just drinking coffee and chatting.
Oh, no, I mean, it's supposed to be coffee and not...
I knew you'd be a good guest today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Marita Kelter already, you are in for a treat. I'm going to get to know her even better, but I have known her for many, many years. She's a dear friend, but also the mother to other dear friends of mine. So it's a bonus. So Marita, let's start off with, if you could tell us a little bit about you.
Okay.
Go all the way back.
All the way.
Where were you born?
Before I was born, I was born in Des Moines, Iowa, where my parents lived their entire married life. My mom was from Chicago, my dad from St. Louis. I grew up there, and I don't have any brothers and sisters. I was an extremely shy child, so my mom made me, so my mom introduced me to she took me to the park system where during the summer, where they had a little drama class. And boy, that just sort of won over my heart, acting and playing.
How old were you?
Probably about 6. And they did a Des Moines Community Theater show that year called Johnny Appleseed. It was an original. It was a musical, and I was Apple Brown Betty. So that was the start of my career.
Aww. Do you remember any of your lines?
I remember part of the song when we're just a couple of saplings, young and silly saplings.
Oh, that's awesome. It's amazing the things that we remember.
I know. Yeah. Sometimes it's very strange, because I will remember a setting like a restaurant or something, but I can't remember where it's at, like what town it's in, or why we were there. But these little vignettes come to mind, and visual vignettes, yeah.
So that's where the artistic journey began, and then what happened?
Well, I went through grade school, both Catholic grade school and high school, where I continued to act. And then I got a music scholarship to a college in Chicago, which I always wanted to go to Chicago, because we went there a lot to visit my mom's family. And I just thrilled at the big city. It was just so exciting. It wasn't like Des Moines. It was something very special about it for me. So I ended up going to a women's college in Chicago, and majoring in performance, as well as I was trying to create my own topical major that combined music, psychology, and sociology. So at one point I thought I wanted to be a music therapist, but that didn't continue, So I performed at with the Chicago Symphony Chorus, and so life in Chicago was wonderful. That's where I met my husband, Bob Kelter.
Who some people may know.
They might, maybe.
He's been around town for a while.
Yes, he has. I'm trying to think. We'll have been married, 47 years in November. Is it November yet? No, it's not November yet. Yeah.
Almost.
almost 47. Yeah. Um, so, and we met in a church. I was singing. I was singing with my cousin, and my cousin had invited him to come hear us. It was one of those old fashioned guitar masses long ago. But we moved up. So we got married. We lived in Chicago and lived the grand life of seeing plays and music and going to theater and all that. And then we kept coming up to visit a cousin that lived in Prairie du Sac, one of my cousins. And so moved up here in May of 78. Bob found a job with the VA, and then we moved into our home, the home that we're in presently, in February of 79. And all sorts of things have happened in this town since then that I have enjoyed being a part of. I started I think it was back in 79. I was, well, at the time, that's a long time ago. But I was appalled that all they had for kids during the summer was baseball. I thought, how can this be? So I went to the village board and I said, I would like to do a music and drama and theater little program for kids in the park. I didn't want to do anything I wasn't supposed to. And they said, sure, go ahead. So I had about 30 kids that I was able to round up, and we had 6 weeks of class, and we gave a little program for the parents. And
is this before, so the Sauk Prairie Theater Guild, before that name was Riverside Players?
Riverside Players, yeah.
This even predates Riverside Players.
I'm pretty sure it does, yeah. Yeah, this was before, and it was before summer school started, and the superintendent at the time was Jerry Jones, I think. And it was before all that. And then summer school started, and so Mr. Jones asked me if I would do the class. And then in 80 something or other, there was a bicentennial of Prairie du Sac, and a friend of mine, no, that's something different. But anyway, we've done some neat things here. We did a play called Peace Child, which was an original play written by somebody, and we had seen the play in Minnesota, and we did that for one of the village celebrations.
And where was that performed at?
We performed that at Grand Avenue Gym.
Oh, just in the school, in the gym?
In the gymnasium, yes. It was, the memories. We had a good friend that had come up with this elaborate lighting for it, and we went and purchased these lights. We had a dress rehearsal that afternoon, and the lights blew.
Oh no!
So that night, all we had were the normal little stage things that a gymnasium, would have.
No, but I'm so grateful that I think about where things are today, and to have the River Art Center and all the technology and the wonderful things that we have. But sometimes having those sweet memories and trying to just figure out how, okay, this is, how do we do this? What do we do? And that kind of excitement. And
there is. And I'm glad it was when I was younger, because I probably didn't get as hassled and rustled as I would nowadays. Or who knows? I also feel like I've really even keeled out.
When you were in Chicago, and then I don't know if you currently are doing this, but I know over the years you were teaching voice and piano. Did you do that starting in Chicago and just continue that while you lived here, or?
No, I started here. Started here, yeah. I started with something called Tunes for Tots in our living room. And it was just kind of almost the neighborhood children that we would, I'd gather once a week, and we'd learn how to sing a little song or do something on the piano. And then I went into more like formal lessons later on for a while, um, and then I stopped after, I don't know, probably 30 years or something.
Yeah.
But everything has a cycle,
Yep.
and it's so wonderful while it's going on. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't miss it.
Yeah.
I'm not yearning to do it. I would probably do it if I was, still.
But speaking of some things you were yearning to do, and you mentioned that you were in the Chicago, the Chicago choir?
Symphony course, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You several times just kind of created your own adult choir here in town, which I felt so lucky to be able to be a part of and sing with. So that must have just been, were you just yearning to have
Yeah,
that collaboration again?
I think so. I think I was thinking about the fact that I both create things out of my own need to express what's inside. And I also seem to respond to some, like what the community needs, or what people, friends of mine need, or something like that. Probably not quite the latest thing I did, but it ended last year. I had like 5 or 6 sessions of women singing. I called it Women's Singing Circle. We did it right in our little gazebo in the backyard, and it was women that had not sung, did not feel comfortable singing publicly at all. Were very shy about singing. So it was bringing them all together and helping them realize the beauty of their own voice. And because I've always said there's not a bad singer. That's kind of been a philosophy of mine, even though some people might think, I'm not so sure about that.
Well, I bet that was really special, and for women for the first time to discover their voices in new ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we would do we'd do some warm-ups, and then we'd do some very simple songs. And then we finally stepped off the cliff and did a little improvisation, and tried to just kind of, somebody would start something out, and then somebody would add something in a rhythm, a rhythmic voice. And it was great. It was great.
So this is sort of related. Well, kind of all the same theme of, I have always felt like you have such a calming energy about you. And so the choir that I was mentioning that I was a part of was called Points of Light Chorus.
Okay. Yeah.
And then that was also associated with some peace related events. And now you are talking about this other women's chorus that was it really kind of like a healing, sounds like a healing thing, even though maybe that wasn't the purpose. And I know you, so I know you also like do work with like crystal bowls and playing those. And so like, I guess, has that always been a part of your life, that you've been very like mindful and centered, or is that something you've worked at over the years?
Oh, I'm constantly working at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing better at it as I get older. I do want to go back a little bit though and say, in the, let's see, I don't know what year it was, but I kind of discovered this whole research about how, and it's ancient research, how sound is vibration and how vibration heals. And I've always felt that singing has that's the dog. Singing has been very healing for me. I feel the vibrations, and then I got into this thing called toning, which is where you kind of, instead of singing outward, the sound is more directed inward, to different parts of your body. And so, yeah, I've done a lot of kind of exploration in those areas. And I don't know how I got into the crystal bowls, but the sound of them are very powerful when you play them. And
The toning and that, like, do you teach that, or do you have sessions on that, or is it more?
I have in the past.
Yeah.
I've had sessions where I've worked individually with people, or it's been a part of the groups that I've done.
Mhm.
If they were more experimental groups
Mhm.
than like
But
our chorus that
but
was.
in a way, you talked about not majoring in art or music therapy, but in a way, you've done that work over the years anyway.
I guess so, yeah. I kind of walked my own little path, you know.
Right.
Being an only child, it's like, you know, it's like, well, nobody's going to stop me from doing what I feel I need to do.
What do you think is the most ridiculous thing you've ever done in the name of art? Like, you've ever had a
Oh,
moment where you're like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now in front of people.
the most ridiculous thing.
Maybe there's
I
nothing.
don't know. That's kind of hard. The thing I did when I was discovered in high school, it was a all school talent show when I was a freshman, and this was a Catholic high school, all girls Catholic high school, and I only say that because it was kind of funny. I had decided to do 2 songs from My Fair Lady because that was another one of my all favorites. So I did, Wouldn't It Be Loverly in the Cockney accent with the coat and, scrawny looking lady. And then I ran backstage and threw it all off and had on this peignoir, a nightie with a peignoir, very fancy peignoir. I think that's the right word, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Because she does this number in the bedroom after she's come in. I sang, I could have danced all night. Well, the nuns were reviewing all the acts before it, and uh, one of them just went up in arms, and I was on stage in a nightgown. But if I remember correctly, they did let me do it in the end because
Wow.
obviously it wasn't, it was a very modest night.
Oh, it makes well, I understand that it probably was hard for you to think of something like a ridiculous moment because I feel like you always are um, just willing to kind of go where you need to go for a character, and so it's not ridiculous if you're like committed to it. But like talking about going far, out of all of the house concerts that we have here at the gallery, I think that the ones that you've put on here are they're the most extravagant, like most fun. You always are like up for collaborating with people, so there's always a lot of musicians, and you invite friends and family, and so it's really is like a party, and I love them. So
Oh, that's great. Thank you for saying that. As I got older, I think um, the idea of collaboration is so important to get people doing things together.
yeah,
Yeah, uh, and those concerts were so fun, and the audiences were so wonderful. I mean, it really,
I
really.
miss them. We're gonna do them again. We're on a little
Yeah.
break, but I miss them.
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of talked about this, but one of my questions was going to be, are you still singing these days, or what other artistic things are you doing to fulfill that need, that because you clearly have always been so passionate about art in your life?
It's kind of slowed down a bit. Um, I think it's 15 years now that I have been playing the piano and singing at Park Hall for the Free Thinkers congregation. I do that twice a month, and I really do love that because they're very open to any kind of music. And I try to get several times a year, try to get musicians to collaborate with me. Willie Walter comes and plays the bassoon, or we let Bob come and play the bass once in a while. And so I'm still doing that. But I've kind of sort of backpedaled. I haven't been vocalizing a lot lately. And as you know, if one doesn't, man, you can lose it so quickly.
Yeah.
And between age and not singing a lot, I'm more reluctant to sing. Um, what was the other part of the question, or did I get
Well, you did answer it. Like what are you doing these days to
Mhm.
fulfill that need? But you said you
Yeah,
are playing piano and um,
I've been playing a lot of piano, yeah. But COVID has kind of stopped a lot of this stuff, you know. It really has.
well, in recent years, because you have two lovely children, Alana and Chris, who both live in Texas. You and Bob, I know, travel down there every year. You've become sort of snowbirds. So we
Yeah.
missed you here, but you've got a wonderful thing going there. Can you tell me a little bit about that journey, your RV journey, and then just your life there?
Yeah, we way back in 2008, when Bob thought he was going to retire from his job with the VA, I spotted a little RV up sitting on 78, and I took him up there. I says, "We've got to get this. We've got to get this." And he was like, "What? What?" And it ended up belonging to the Mashmans, which was so cool because he was a vice principal at the time. And they had, or no, I guess he'd retired, and they had used it, but then decided that they wanted to do something differently. So we got it in 2008, and then in the fall, when it kind of got so kind of iffy, um, Bob decided, okay, I'm not going to retire, and he didn't till 2012. But in the meantime, both kids had moved to the Austin area, and we have been enjoying going down there, sometimes for a short amount of time, and now each year it's gotten a little bit longer. um, in the past 2 years we have found a wonderful job of being camp hosts at a state park that's about 20 minutes south of Austin. So we've done everything there, from manning the front gate in the evenings for when the people come in to be in the park. We've cleaned bathrooms, we've painted. It's a beautiful, beautiful park. It is it has a couple of dammed up falls. It's on a river. It's not that far from the city itself, but very wooded, lots of paths. I think it's 475 acres, if I remember.
Oh,
No, maybe I'm not sure how many acres it is, but it's a good sized park, and it's fun being camp host. You meet a few people, and I love being outdoors
yeah.
all year round. It's really lovely.
Are you sort of like on call if there's emergencies or not? I mean,
On occasion, but that hasn't happened too often. Once in a while, a camper will have a problem or an issue. Um,
and then you come to
but
the rescue.
yes, yes, we put on our capes and our tights, and we come to the rescue. But yeah, it's a park that is used a lot because it's so close to Austin. A lot of people use it just after work they'll come out and just walk the trails, and it's usually 100% filled with they have 80 campsites.
Wow.
So I love it. I just love it. Love the
Yeah,
life. I
sounds
mean,
like a dream.
yeah, yes, I think it really is.
All right. Well, lovely Marita. I would love to keep chatting, but I have one more question for you.
Okay.
And that is, if you could give advice to your 20 or 25-year-old self, what advice would that be?
I think the advice would be don't uh, don't be so serious, and I kind of would have to say part of what was on the music in the music room. You know, take risks, because life is, there's so many wonderful things out there to experience, and you shouldn't let yourself stop yourself from experiencing them. You know, take the jump, take the leap.
Yep. I love that. I think that's a perfect way to end too, and like something for us all to, no matter what age you are, to remember, because it's not too late to take risks either.
That, yes, you can continue till the day you're no longer here.
Yeah.
It's been so lovely. I love looking at your face. It's just so delightful.
Well, thank you. I love, really, literally, I love looking at your face as well, but anyone's face right now just feels so good. So,
This
so
has
good
been
to see
great.
you. Thanks so much, Marita. Cheers.
Thank you so much for this honor, and
Oh,
I'll look forward to the next time you interview the next person.
all right. I've got lots of surprise guests coming up.
Oh, good.
All
Good,
right.
good, good.
Thanks, Marita.
All right.